Assuming not everyone here has played before, Ponder pulled out a whistle. The game is simple. Throw your ping pong ball into the other team's cups. If you make it, they have to drink what's in the cup. If you miss, they get the ball. Bouncing it across the table instead of straight in will count for 2 cups, but your opponents can swat away the ball if they're fast enough to catch the bounce. If both players on a team make the same cup, it counts for 3 cups, and the players get to shoot again. If they don't make the same cup, but both make a cup, only those 2 cups are removed, but the players still get to shoot again. We get it? Door guy jogged in place. The audience is gonna die of starvation before we get through all this. Ignoring Door guy's constant annoying drone, Ponder continued, he's actually right. The rest of the rules will come up when they're applicable. For now, we'll just start. Winner of the bracket gets immunity. Loser, well, sucks at beer pong, I guess. Lights trained on the table. Eye to eye determines starter. Ponder folded its arms. Opponents must maintain eye contact, throwing their balls at the same time. Whoever makes it in starts the round. Begin! Eye to eye. John and Callie slowly spoke together, eyes held in a friction-heavy stare. John softly tossed in a gentle arc, the lightweight ball spiraling with precision before Callie swung with all her strength, thrashing her ball out like a Major League Baseball pitch. It screamed through the air to perfectly deflect John's ball into the far wall, before clanking against a cup. It spun so fast it continued to flip beer out, steaming softly. Dorguy's mouth hung open in shock, John's hand frozen mid-throw. Us first. Callie nodded emotionlessly, holding out her hand. Show off? Dorguy scoffed, grudgingly fishing out the ball. Just wait until our turn. Then we'll show ya. Yeah. He tossed the ball under her hand, distortion snapping it into Callie's hand the minute it left his. Ponder produced another ball and handed it to Malaya. She slowly extended a shaking metallic pincer to grasp it. Callie carefully stared at the table, taking a second before again hurling the ball with all her strength. It smacked against the furthest back cup before grinding slowly to a halt in the beer. John grimaced, slowly removing the ball as Malaya nervously raised hers. The puppet churned with mechanical clinking as she carefully lined up her pincer. With one soft flick, the ball sailed through the air, splashing directly into the center cup. 2 cups, Ponder announced, John flinching as their team hostages tore against the restraints in panic. Muffled screams droned behind whirring saw blades. Blood leaked softly on the floor, snaking under the table and spiraling down a drain. And that's balls back, Ponder grinned. Team Callie may shoot again. John shakily rolled the balls across the table to Callie. He handed one cup to Dorguy before nervously drinking the other himself. Callie stood unfazed and unyielding in her stare. She hacked her ball again, lasering it directly into the cup one over from her previous one. She was just going down the line, one at a time. Dorguy gritted his teeth. Callie's heating up, Ponder grinned. Speaking of rules, we'll explain as they arise. If she makes her next shot as well, that'll be 3 in a row, and she'll be on fire. She can then shoot until she misses. Dorguy's face fell, John's fists clenching. This isn't fair, Dorguy threw out his hands. If I was frickin' telekinetic, I better be pretty damn good too. We're not even gonna get a chance to shoot. Such is life, Ponder shrugged. Maybe you should have been telekinetic. Dorguy snarled, posture rigidifying. She's not even doing cool shots. He kicked at the ground, pouting. No need, Callie spoke. This plan is foolproof. So long as Malaya makes this shot, you lose immediately. Malaya wiped a claw at her brow, pincer holding the ball, now shaking uncontrollably.
No pressure.
She sweated, breathing shallow breaths.
You got this, Malay. Not like you need telekinesis or anything. Lots of cups left. This puppet is super easy to control. Definitely not kind of laggy or anything.
With a nervous flick, she lobbed the ball. A tiny click left it to bounce off the front cup rim before reversing direction and making a soft splash in her own cup.
Gah!
She shrieked, claws rushing to her head.
Ah, shit!
We take that. Ponder grinned, screams and blood exploding out behind him. That's 2 cups, one against their own team. The game continues. Team John's turn. Boom! Dorgai pumped his fists, hip-checking John excitedly before downing the one drink. Malay, I love you! John, that is the first and last mistake they'll ever make. Our turn to show them how it's done. He put up his hand excitedly as Callie drilled the balls across the table at near supersonic speed. His skin splattered with bloody goo as he caught them bare-handed. Ow. His eye twitched as the balls fell to the floor. John bent down to pick them up, slapping one against Dorgai's chest before dipping his carefully in a cup and shaking it dry. Alright, you first. He nudged Dorgai. Anything but center. Bitch cup? Dorgai scoffed. What do I look like? Honestly, no idea. John sighed. Black silhouetted tar? Damn right. Dorgai adjusted his hat before sporting a massive grin and gracefully lifting up on one foot like a ballerina and tossing the ball in a tall arc. At this distraction, John's eyes narrowed, fingers splaying out as he suddenly curved the ball across the table, the ball bouncing cleanly before sinking into the front cup. Milliseconds later, Dorgai's shot impacted left of center, bouncing off a cup rim and being vaporized by Callie before it could bounce in. Trick shot by John! Ponder cackled, clapping its hands. Miss by Dorgai. Still 2 drinks, but no balls back. The hostages behind Callie and Malay paled in horror, wet innards sloshing against the ground as Callie fished out the ball. Ah, hell. Dorgai frowned. Sun was in my eyes. The gym sun. Callie slowly lifted 2 cups off the table, staring at them for several seconds. Her eyes flashed to Malay. Oh, right, Ponder giggled. Malay can't exactly get drunk as a bundle of computer code. Callie, if you so choose for her to drink, I will interfere with her processing incrementally to simulate inebriation for every drink she has. She needs to be as sober as possible. Callie narrowed her eyes. If that increases her likelihood of making a shot. Malay giggled nervously. I will drink the poison for the team. Callie nodded softly. I am stronger. The plan will not deviate. She brought the drink to her lips, meaning to throw the entire thing back before the smallest amount wetted her lips and her eyes widened. She recoiled, staring in terror at her cup as she spit onto the floor and her face grimaced. Foul. She hissed, hand clenching as distortions warped at the red plastic. Truly, this game is an awful punishment. Timeout! John suddenly shot up. I call timeout to allow Subject 12 to finish her drinks. Nice try. That's up to the team with possession of the balls. Ponder folded his arms, looking to Callie and Malay. What do you say? The game will pause until you have finished your drinks regardless. Want to call a timeout to let players leave the table safely? I see no harm in this. Callie seethed, eyes nervously flicking to her cups. If the rules dictate we cannot continue until I have poisoned myself, so be it. Everyone may go. Time out. Ponder nodded. The game will resume when the team with possession is back at the table and verbally announces it. I don't... somewhere you want to be? Dorgai whispered to John carefully. What was the point of... It will take a bit of time for Callie to feel the effects of any drink she takes. John nervously stole a glance at the clock in its peripheries. She's clearly an extreme lightweight, but if she shoots anytime soon, she'll keep going and win long before she's even tipsy. Only 7 cups left. We can't let that happen.
Oh shit!
Dorguy's grin widened, eyebrows cocking.
Who knew John was such a schemer, eh?
Don't wait up for us. John's eyes narrowed at Dorguy's remark. I've got to get Callie away from the table in case she tries to reinstate the game the minute she's finished. I'll buy us as much time as I can. You keep an eye on Malay.
I always do.
Dorguy winked before suddenly grabbing John's shirt as they began to walk away.
Don't repeat that.
He grimaced slightly, rubbing the back of his neck.
To her, I mean. Obviously a joke.
He blinked slowly, John staring right back.
Alright, fine, you know what?
Dorguy continued hastily, voice dropping as he turned John away from the others in a huddle.
Okay, I know this is the literal worst time, but... Okay, my head's just not in the game, man. I have to ask. I mean, it's gonna sound stupid. You don't think she's, like... next, do you?
While we're on the subject? John stared.
Just talking about team stuff,
Dorguy called extremely loudly over his shoulder to the watching contestants.
No eavesdropping or Ponder will destroy your dimension with more shitty jokes.
Ponder frowned, turning to Sarah beside it.
I'm not sure I like that guy.
Its ears twitched.
I might double count some votes.
Sarah shrugged.
No, it's dumb.
Dorguy lowered his voice back down for John.
Never mind. Well, just with sketch and all, it got me thinking. I sometimes I don't understand the audience's preferences. And, well, I kind of like her. Malay is actually pretty chill. Plus, last round she, really stood up for me.
His grin faded, eyes slowly dropping again.
I mean, people don't usually do that, you know?
He half laughed.
And I don't mean to sound dumb and cheesy and girly and stuff, and I know she only did it because we were partners and we both had to escape to win the round.
He took a breath, shaking his head and shrugging again.
Hell, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Everyone's gonna get voted off eventually, right?
He laughed.
I don't know what I'm worried about. I should be worried about my own skin, I was second to last this round. I'll be gone long before she is. Nothing to worry about.
He smiled and patted John on the back.
Never mind. Yeah, whatever. Now, go get that WMD drunk.
He smiled.
I'll flirt it up with the ladies here. Might be my last chance,
He slapped his hand over John's before raising both above his head, chanting,
"Team break!"
John was still largely in a dazed shock, slowly turning back to the table. His eyes lingered for a second or two on Dorguy as he hesitantly searched out Malay, only to flinch away as the puppet looked in his direction.
What is your plan?
A message from Sarah popped up in John's UI. If possible, I would like to speak with you before the game resumes. John hesitantly looked to Callie, standing rigidly in the same spot at the table, swallowing a rapid breath before taking a swig and grimacing, her porcelain skin flushed with discomfort.
I'll tell you if it works. John typed back quickly, beginning to walk. And I'm not sure I'll have time. Callie?
John carefully approached, giving a dumb thumbs up.
How's it going?
Callie's eyes sizzled with indifference, green embers hidden behind black tendrils of hair. She said nothing. You know, I'm not really sure what excuse I could give. John nervously thought up on the spot. But, wanna take a walk outside with me real quick? No. Callie deflected this without a second thought. Your attempts to lure my focus away from winning this round will not work. John's eyes flashed to see Cold staring at the two of them. Her eyes bored holes into Callie. Okay. John began to sweat, mind churning faster as he fiddled. What if I told you I had something cool to show you, that just so happens to be outside? I'd say that attempt was worse than the last one. Callie's eyes drifted back to her drink. I'd say back off. Silence for a bit. Well, what if I made a deal with you? John switched gears, watching Callie's reaction carefully. I drink one of the drinks if you come on a walk with me. Callie blinked slowly, pausing for a few seconds before shoving one of the drinks into John's hands. That benefits me. She nodded robotically. Drink now. The walk will last 5 minutes. 30 minutes, John nodded, lifting the cup to his lips. Snap. Callie's hand crunched down on the cup rim, face leaning in close as she pulled the cup down. 10 minutes. Her eyes blazed. 25 it is. John grinned awkwardly, pulling against her hand to bring up the cup. 10. Callie hissed, distortions beginning to billow around her. What game are you playing? I do not enjoy it. The haunting rattle of chains began to vibrate the air. Tough bargain, but I agree with 20, John repeated. Cool, glad we agree. He suddenly pivoted to Callie's side, using her own arm to tip the drink into his mouth. He swallowed most of it, the last little bit spilling directly into his eye. He flailed at this, crashing to the ground and breathing out an exasperated laugh, pointing upwards in victory. Haha, I win. He nodded to the enraged specter, her chain tendrils slithering in the air like pissed cattails. Help me up? He blinked excessively with one eye, holding up a hand hopefully. Callie turned around and walked out. Callie! John breathed heavy, stumbling to catch up to her as snow descended silently all around them. Subject 12. Callie corrected, eyes remaining fixed ahead. Her chains left gashed trails in the snow behind her, slowly masking out her footprints. Subject, sure. John nodded, stealing a glance at her drink. He shivered, carefully shoving his hands into his pockets as he glanced at the bleak, gray sky above. Their SPLICE still softly smoked in the near distance, black plumes of ash drifting to block out what little sun remained. The college courtyard was barely recognizable as civilization, benches and statues covered with layers of jagged frost. The two walked in silence for some time. Callie didn't seem to feel the cold at all. So, who... John finally broke the silence, watching his feet crunch in the snow. Who do you think will be, voted off next? Callie didn't speak. John looked at her, her eyes finally swiveling to meet his. I do not see how that's relevant, she replied coldly. Yeah, no, you're right. John looked away. It's probably not good to be thinking about, anyway. I feel sick. I guess it's just now hitting me after sketch. This is real. We get voted off and Ponder, he just... John's words died out, haunted eyes fixed on the puppet on his wrist, waving softly to him. You are new to this game, Callie simply responded. Yet, I still do not see how you are unprepared for the consequences, Ponder stated clearly. Should I have been? John looked to her. Should anyone be? Some people are. Callie simply responded, finishing her cup and crushing it with distortions. The red paint flayed into mist as her hands squeezed, vaporizing it within a few seconds. John stopped momentarily, watching Callie continue walking on ahead of him. Her words echoed around in his head for some time. He slowly jogged to catch back up, her eyes remaining fixed ahead. Subject 12? He spoke after some time. Callie corrected. Callie, John nervously continued. Wait, what? Never mind. If you don't mind me asking, what's that, home for you? Callie looked at him out of the corner of her eye. Like, your dimension, John clarified uneasily. If I'm not going too far, you claim to be a weapon of mass destruction, right? Designed to kill everyone. Callie finished, unfazed. That is my purpose. But what? John could already feel himself going too far. Ponder is like the greatest WMD of all time. He'd annihilate your entire dimension without batting an eye. You two should, technically have the same goal, right? But you try so hard at this game. Are you suggesting I lose this game intentionally to give you a better chance? Callie's words slithered out. Not at all. John shook his head. That's the opposite. That's not what I meant. I'm just saying I don't think a WMD would act like that. It seems like you're protecting something back at home. Just like the rest of us. I am not protecting anyone. Callie stopped walking, eyes narrowing. I do not understand what you hope to gain with these questions. John grew frustrated with himself, staring down at the snow as he tried to wrangle his thoughts together. I just want to know that I'm not alone here, he finally continued. Billions of souls. It's a sick joke. I'm so fucking terrified I'll let them down. The stakes are just so damn high and we're standing here playing fucking beer pong. I just can't believe it. I just wanted to know if... He stopped, shaking his head. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, this doesn't do anyone any good. We can only try our best. I know that. Forget it. You wish to know if I am also scared? Callie spoke after a beat of silence, eyes searching his face. Because that will make you feel better if I am? It would make me feel better if you weren't. Callie blinked, eyes widening. You're clearly stronger than any of us. John couldn't meet her gaze. You're so machine-like and analytical. For fuck's sake, you're practically a god. If you're just as scared as us, what chance do we have, you know? He sighed, slowly sitting down in the snow. I lied. He half laughed. To Door Guy. I told him I would take you out here to give the drink time to inebriate you and maybe give us a chance. I knew that was the plan, Callie affirmed. I doubt its success. Me too. John looked up to her. Truth is, I just wanted some alone time with you. To talk. About this. Callie was stunned. I do not understand. She struggled, now looking at the ground as if unsure if she should sit. Explain. Dorguy's scared he might lose Malaya. John's teeth gritted. Isn't that ridiculous? The two hardly even know each other. He was supposed to be the cool guy who didn't care about anything. And if she's not voted off this time, it'll be the next time. Even if the two of them survive until the final round against all odds, one of them will still have to die. It's just so sadistic. John took a deep breath, wiping at his eyes and squeezing his fists tighter. But I can't do that. His head was bowed. I'm not losing this, not losing my dimension. I can't let it get to me, and they don't deserve someone who wallows in self-pity. They need someone who will fight until the last breath. I just want to know. Everything aside, if I try hard enough, could I be like you? Callie stood awkwardly. I am unsure how to respond. Her eyes surveyed John's face, slowly brushing her hair away. No one. She softly dragged a chain across the snow, staring at it for several seconds before looking to her own hand and slowly sitting down. No one wants to be like me. John stared ahead. I've killed many, many people. Callie spoke coldly. Their faces slowly disappear. The more you see, the more you kill. Eventually they're all just wearing masks. Mannequins. So that's what it takes, huh? John stared downwards. You asked if I was protecting anyone at home. Callie extended another tendril, the hot, warping metal slowly drawing a circle in the snow. I do not care for anyone in my dimension. I only feel rage for those who made me like this. I'm told I once had a family and friends, was once human, but they all died along with me. The test to make me what I am. I can still feel the needles, hear the gunfire, see those who saw me as something inhuman. I would wish the worst of deaths upon them. They deserve to be pulled apart, limb by limb. John slowly looked back up to her. And yet, I am still scared. Callie let her tendril fall limp. I fear the idea of nothing to go back to. I feel as if I should not be the one to end the lives of so many who did me no wrong. The weight of our worlds are on our shoulders, John. I do not believe you are alone in your feelings. It doesn't ever get any easier. You just hide it better. John looked back to the ground. I am sorry. Callie nodded, beginning to stand again. I know that was not the response you were looking for. John's hand suddenly snapped around her wrist, wrenching her back down as he threw his arms around her. She rigidified at the hug, surprise distortions violently lashing in every direction to blow away the snow in a large circle around them. No. John just pulled tighter as the distortions slowly faded, Callie's chains wavering uncertainly. Thank you. Callie just stared down at John, terrified hands hovering in place. Sorry. John finally pulled back, awkwardly getting to his feet and looking away. That was better than what I was looking for. I guess every character needs their little self-pity party, but we really are all in this together. Caring less isn't the answer. I'm not crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy, right? I mean, Ponder's a fucking puppet that destroys worlds with poorly explained sci-fi bullshit. It's laughable. Callie just stayed frozen in place, face so pale the redness rushing into her cheeks looked like a tidal wave. It is crazy. She unsteadily stood up, grabbing her own arm. Her hair fell back in front of her face, mouth contorted in embarrassment. None of us are going to back down, John affirmed. And that's the way it should be. We're all scared shitless, and if that's the motivator, so be it. We're not just going to take this. Callie nervously nodded. And, since you made me feel better, John continued after a short pause. For what it's worth, your dimension is lucky to have you, Callie. I will win this competition, correct? Callie spoke. They will survive. It has been 20 minutes on our walk. I have fulfilled my end of the deal. Yeah, oh, right. John turned back to the gym, now barely visible through the snow and fog. And, well, probably, but I more so meant it like... Well, it sounds like it kind of sucked for you there. At home. For you to turn around and protect them, even those who hurt you. That's not nothing.